لا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو خلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
Assalamu brothers and sisters. Before I give the announcements and have invite up our speaker, we do have a special speech by Zara Billu from CARE. She'd like to take 5 minutes of our time, inshallah. Please invite her up with a loud salawat.
Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak. You know, it's hard because every time I go to the masjid, I have to tell stories about how bad Islamophobia is and the challenges the Muslim community is facing. But the reality is that those things have been so bad now for several years, and you likely don't need convincing that anti-Muslim sentiment is really high. And so instead, I wanted to tell you a story about us winning, so that we can focus on the positive and remember that when we put in hard work, when we're driven by faith and principles, and when we work with others, we have successes. A couple of weeks ago, we started to get word that a group called Act for America, the nation's largest anti-Muslim organization, let that sink in for a second, national, large anti-Muslim organization, was putting together 30 March Against Sharia events across the country. Ask someone at one of these marches, what is Sharia? Tell me what Section 5 of Sharia says. What does Sharia say about women's rights? And they can't, right? They can't quote it. They haven't read it. But they're pandering to fear. And they said, we're going to do 30 of these events on June 10th across the country. And we're going to do it to protect women. And it was like, well, look at the care office locally, which is led by women. Women find protection in Islam, not in Islamophobia. They said, we're going to do it to protect this person and that person. And we said, no. They said, we're coming to Santa Clara. And the overwhelming response of the team at CARE, my entire staff outvoted me. I said, let's ignore them. And my entire staff said, no, they can't come to Santa Clara and we're going to sit by and do nothing. We have two concerns. One, what will the Muslims in the masajid and in the community say, and how will they feel if they see anti-Muslim protesters in their town? We work so hard to build relationships, to do interfaith work, to train our young people. How can they come to our town? We have to do something to make the Muslims feel safe. And then they said, we also have to call on our allies, the Jews, the Christians, the Hindus, everyone that has said since the election, we're going to take care of Muslims. Let's give them something to do. Let's let them take care of us. And so overnight, we worked together with the local masajid, but more than the local masajid, with local interfaith groups, Christians, Jews, and people who are atheists, and said, we can all agree that we don't want hate in our community. And alhamdulillah, in the week that led up to June 10th, we pulled together over 130 organizations who said this Islamophobic march isn't welcome in Santa Clara or San Jose. How dare you come to our town? And we spent all week advertising outside of the Muslim community. Because, okay, it's great, 100 Muslims show up to protest against the Islamophobes. That's expected. What we needed was people who aren't us to stand with us. And in the week that led up to it, we pulled together over 1,000 attendees. We worked with the police, which you know as a civil rights lawyer, if you've heard me do a Know Your Rights presentation, is something I do very cautiously. But we worked with the police and we said, you make sure that our people are safe, that those white supremacists on the other side of the street don't attack our people, and that there are no arrests. We worked with elected officials to make sure that they knew that they had an obligation to be on our side of the street. That's not the case in other parts of the country. I know a Georgia state senator joined the march against Sharia. How dare him? He's an elected official and he's going to try to marginalize our community. So over the weekend in San Jose, right on the border of Santa Clara and San Jose, we had 131 organizations, 1,000 people, 70% not Muslim, who came out to say Muslims are welcome here. This is our community. We have First Amendment rights and you all are haters. I didn't know that one of my board members did this, but he did. He went over to the other side. It's a little bit easier sometimes for the men to blend in. He went over to the other side and he counted. Because of all of the pressure that had built up over the week to say these marches aren't welcome here, that Muslims are welcome here, there were a total of, imagine how many protesters on the other side, 21. 1,000 of us and 21 of them. Our objective, I told you, was twofold: to ensure that Muslims in our community felt safe and cared for, and that our allies knew that they had an obligation to stand up for this. And by the way, that was true across the country. We had the largest counter rally with 1,000. There were 500 in New York. There was a big food service activity in Georgia. But across the country, the Act for America rallies against Sharia were a total bust. And I share this because I said, a lot of times what I have to talk about is depressing. But we know from our history as Muslims, and we know from looking at recent practices, that we can win these fights. What does it take? It takes principled activism. It takes strong institutions that you invest and engage in, like CARE, like the Saba Center, and like so many others. And then it takes building relationships outside of the Muslim community. And so I hope that with your support and your continued solidarity, that we will keep winning. I don't think that this win ends racism or ends Islamophobia, but I know that we have a formula for winning, and it requires all of you in a strong care office. And so thank you to those of you who support us. Thank you to those of you who volunteer with us. And I look forward to continuing to work with you as we work on this effort to push back against Islamophobia. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for that. So now, inshallah, just for the usual announcements, I mentioned this yesterday as well. Next Friday, we will be having an Al Quds protest at Stevens Creek in Winchester, in the corner of Stevens Creek in Winchester, on next Friday, June 23rd, starting at 3:30. It'll be from 3:30 to 5 o'clock. So we do encourage everyone to join. And then we'll also have a special Al Quds Day program here at Saba right after the iftar. There'll be no parallel program. There'll just be one program starting at 9:30, inshallah. Can I ask everyone, please, we're going to have a lot of people tonight. If everyone can please stand up and move towards the curtain, whatever side you're on, for the men to your right, for the ladies to your left. Please make as much space as possible. We have a lot of people that are still trickling in. Please move forward and to your right. And the brothers and sisters that are on the chair, if you see an open chair next to you, please ask you to scoot down so people don't have to go across from you, inshallah. And so the program for tonight, right after the lecture, we will have English Latmiya, and then we'll be going straight into Amal in the main hall. Because of our numbers tonight, we will have an overflow in this hall. So if you can't find a space in the main hall, we do ask you to come here, and we'll have a projector here, and it'll be the same program, just for the overflow. And please do pick up after yourselves whatever food or drinks you bring in with you. This place, they serve food in here. There's always little plates people leave behind. I ask you to please pick up after yourself so we keep this place clean, inshallah. And one last thing, I've said a couple of times, SYG is collecting cash to make care packages for the homeless. So I'm going to be passing this around. There's some sisters who are passing it around as well. If you guys can just please fill it out, and then at the end, whoever has the envelope at the end, just please put it back on the table after the lecture, inshallah, not during. And please also limit going in and out of the halls. Pick up your glasses and plates and whatever, and please let's give our attention to the speaker. And with that, please help me invite him up with a loud salawat.
الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وخاتم النبيين وسيد المرسلين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعن الله الدائم على أعدائهم أجمعين. My respected sisters and brothers in Islam and Iman, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tonight is the 21st night of the month of Ramadan. It's a very sacred and special night. First of all, it's a night of great sadness for all Muslims, and in particular those who have love and follow the path of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. According to riwayat, Rasulullah and Imam Ali alayhi salam are the fathers of the ummah. And our identity is rooted in the fact that we try to at least be among those who are considered the Shia of Amir al-Mu'mineen, the Shia of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And on this night, we know that this is the night in which our spiritual father was martyred. The one who is very much tied to who we are, what we stand for, he was martyred on this night. And this was a very, very tragic moment in history, and something that until today, it's something that our hearts and the hearts of all those who have this love for the Ahlul Bayt, it still bleeds in pain thinking about what happened. So this is a night of great sadness and tragedy and mourning, and we can imagine that, if may Allah protect our parents and give them long and healthy lives, but let's say that our own father were to pass away, what sort of state we would be in tonight, remembering that. Second of all, it's a night which is very sacred because it's the 21st night of the month of Ramadan. It's a night of dua, it's a night of tawbah, it's a night of seeking whatever it is that we want from Allah Ta'ala. It's a night which plays a very important role in determining what's going to happen for us in the next year. So from now, I encourage all of you to be in a state of dua to Allah. Ask Him again, keep on asking Him. Ask Him through whatever means that you can. And the best way that we know to ask Him, of course, is through the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. And if we ask them, then we are asking Him, because it is with His authority and His power, and it is from Him, this is the channel that He's chosen to fulfill our du'as. So this is a night for us to be doing tawassul to the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, in particular to two individuals, one of them being Sayyidah Fatimah al-Zahra alayhi salam, because we're told that she has a very special connection with Laylatul Qadr, and the second individual being the Imam of our time, Ajalallahu Farjahu al-Sharif. Sallu ala Muhammad wa alihi. Inshallah, I'd like to first of all continue looking at some of the practical lessons we can take from Surah Yasin, and then I want to mention some of the incidents that took place around the Shahada of Amir al-Mu'mineen. We have gotten to this verse, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين. This verse came right after Allah mentions those people who can be guided by the Quran. Right? It's people who have two characteristics. One of them is that they are willing to follow, they are willing to submit to what the Quran says, what the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt said, because they are the people of the Quran. They have that willingness to follow. They're willing to put away their following their base desires. They're willing to submit to a higher power. They're willing to forego the lower impulses of their own nafs to be able to submit to God. The second one is that their hearts are fearful in reverence to the most compassionate. Now, How do we get there? How do we have a heart which is fearful? How do we have a heart which is filled with remembrance and passion and faith? How do we get there? It's as if Allah Ta'ala gives us some ways to do that in this very next verse. He reminds us. He reminds us of the hereafter. Everything that we do, everything that we say, everything is part of compiling our book of deeds, which will be manifest to us in the Day of Judgment. And it's not just a book, it's the reality of these deeds. And the second thing we talked about last night was the idea that even after we die, our legacy that we leave behind can either be a source of goodness or it can be a source of destruction for us. And so we have to be careful to plan from now for the future. The third part of this verse talks about another concept where Allah says, وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. Everything we have encompassed in an imam which is clear. Now, what is this imam that's being talked about in this verse of the Quran? When we go to the Quran, imam is one of those words which actually has multiple meanings. Most of us think of imam as being leader, right? Like a human being who is a leader, like Imam Ali alayhi salam. But in the Quran, the word imam has different meanings. The first meaning is, if you recite salawat, please. It appears in Surah Al-Hijr, Surah number 15, verse number 79. Allah says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فانتقمنا منهم وإنهما لبإمام مبين. Allah is talking about two cities. One of them being the city of the people of Lut, and the other one being this group known, this people known as Ashabul Aykah. Both of them were people who Allah sent prophets to, but despite repeated guidance, they rejected it and they brought about their own destruction. Now Allah is speaking to the Muslims and He's saying that both of these towns, you can actually see them. How can you see them? You can see them on the Imam Mubin. Now what is this Imam? The Imam there is referring to a highway. You know how when let's say you're off in some like suburb somewhere, some small town somewhere, okay? And you want to travel to, let's say, another city which is off in this distance. What do? Usually, like, let's say you put in your GPS, right? With the help of your GPS, you start driving, and it tells you, okay, how to navigate so you get out of your particular suburban area, and it gets you onto the freeway. Now, once you get onto the freeway, if you know kind of the area you're in, what can you do? You can turn off the GPS, because now when you're in the freeway, you don't need that GPS anymore. You know that it's going to take you to your destination. In the Arabic language, that road that everyone knows about, that road which all the side roads lead to, that road that once you're there, you don't even need signs anymore, that is called an imam. Why is it called an imam? Because once you're there, you're safe anymore. You're not going to get lost. Right? All you have to do is just go along with it. It's going to take you to your destination. Okay, that's what's called an imam. And it's important, as we're trying to understand the meaning of imam, we look at it from this state. That's number one. Another meaning of imam is that it is a book. Okay, Allah Ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ahqaf, Surah 46, verse number 12, He says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ومن قبله كتاب موسى إماما ورحمة. Before the Quran, there was the book of Musa. What was the book of Musa? It was the Torah. Now, when Allah describes the Torah, right, He says that the Torah was a book which was an imam and a rahmah. Rahmah means mercy. Allah praises the Torah in the Quran. Right? Normally, we Muslims, we think of the Torah and the Injil, we say that, these books have been corrupted. Right? They've been superseded by the Quran, which is true. But the original books were the words of God. Right? And they had a lot of light and wisdom and mercy, and they were praiseworthy. Even in their current form, even though there are some distortions, most of what appears in these books is wisdom and guidance and truth, and many of it is reflective of the teachings of the Quran as well. So Allah describes them as being rahmah and an imam. Mercy and imam. Now here, what does imam here mean? Remember the meaning that we just talked about once you get on the road, then you're pretty much safe. It's going to take you to your destination. That same word can be applied to a book. How? Because there are books which are like that for you. That in your spiritual journey, once you get connected with this book, you take it to be your guidebook for life. you're set anymore. You don't have to go anywhere else. Okay, you can trust it. So the Torah is referred to as an imam. Similarly, the Injil was an imam, and the Quran as an imam is an imam as well. Imam with the meaning of being a guidebook. Okay. Now, there's a third meaning of imam in the Quran, which is a human being. Right. This is something that I'm sure all of us are aware of, where, for example, Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam, at a certain point in his spiritual progress, he makes a dua to Allah. He says that, "Oh Allah, after being tested with tests, right? He completes those tests. Then Allah says to him, "Inni ja'iluka imama." I have made you an imam. There, an imam is referring to a human being who is at a very high stage, and they are now a leader for the people. They're like that road where once you get there, they can take you to the destination. You don't have to worry about anything else. You're safe with them. In this verse, where Allah is saying that وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ, what is it referring to? The commentators say that this is referring to a book. Okay, it's referring to a book which contains everything in it. And this is something which is, maybe we haven't heard about this before. It's one of the teachings of the Quran. Allah has different creations, right? There's human beings, there's angels, there's jinns, but there's also something called the Lawh Mahfuz. Lawh Mahfuz is what's the preserved tablet. And it's something that the Quran refers to as containing all of knowledge. Everything that is, everything that was, everything that will be is contained in a book, and this is reflective of the knowledge of Allah Ta'ala. I'll give you an example where Allah speaks about this. This is from Surah Al-An'am, verse number 6. Allah says, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, وَعِنْدَهُ مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ." And as I'm mentioning these verses right here, the reason why I'm doing so is because, it is the month of the Quran. And on this night of Qadr, when we had this idea that Allah is going to be deciding for us our destiny, right? We need to, I feel that it can help us to understand this by understanding more about the way that Allah does things and His knowledge and the way that He interacts with His creation. What does He say? He says, "With Allah belongs the treasures of the unseen. La ya'lamuha illa hu. None knows it but save Him. وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. And He knows what is in the land and in the sea." And then He says, يَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ وَمَا تَسْقُطُ مِنْ وَرَقَةٍ إِلَّا يَعْلَمُهَا وَلَا حَبَّةٍ فِي ظُلُمَاتِ الْأَرْضِ وَلَا رَطْبٍ وَلَا يَابِسٍ إِلَّا فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ. Everything that is in the land and the sea, every leaf that falls from the trees. I don't know, do you guys have leaves that fall from the trees here in California? I don't know. Okay, in other parts of the world, right, which don't enjoy the type of, beauty and landscape that you guys do here, we actually have changes of seasons and the leaves fall and these things. So leaves do fall from trees. Okay, no leaf falls without His knowing it. Nor is there a grain in the darkness of the earth, nor anything fresh or withered, but it is in a manifest book. Okay, now this, just stop to think about this, right? Even something which is insignificant as a leaf which is withered and dry falling down from the ground, even that is captured in a book. Okay, imagine everything else is in that book. Right? Imagine the profundity and magnitude of this book. Sometimes we think of this world as being just random, chaotic, right? Everyone's just doing their own thing. I do my own thing, that guy's doing his own thing, she's doing her own thing. But that's not how it works. Everything is according to a certain measure. Everything is according to a certain rhythm. Everything is calculated. Right? Everything as its destinies set in place as well too. Everything has been measured out from beforehand. All of this information is encapsulated in what's called the Lawh Mahfuz, or another word for it is an Imamin Mubin. And so when we read this verse, one of the meanings that we can take from it is it's a reminder for us about the knowledge of Allah. Knowing and understanding more about Allah's knowledge and His awareness and His intimate, encompassing of every single thing that exists is something which can have a huge impact for us. I'll give you an example. This is from, because after all, it is the night of the Shahada of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. One of the hadith that we have from him where he's talking about Allah's knowledge, he says that Allah is aware of the cries of the wild animals in the mountains and the deserts. Okay, normally if it was a normal human being and they're in the mountain and the desert and there's a wild animal that's crying out, right, they would probably run away from that because they don't want to be there. When they're in the desert, you'll probably be mauled by the animal. But Allah is aware of that. Then he says, Allah is aware of the sins of His servants committed in private. A lot of times people have a problem with this, right? When they're with others, it's fine. They can hold themselves to a certain state of conduct because they don't want to be embarrassed in front of others. But when they're alone, no one else is there, it's just them or just them and their device, right? Then the taqwa is no longer there, or it's a lesser form of taqwa. Because sometimes we imagine, at least we act in a way that as if Allah cannot see us or He's not aware of what we're doing. Allah is aware of the movements of fish in deep seas. Right? You know how so often they come up with new discoveries of new species that they ever didn't even know about. Right? So they find they go and explore a new sea in some other part of the ocean. They find tens or hundreds of new species still. Allah is aware of those. And also the formation of waves by the strong winds. It's very easy for us to forget about this, right? We just go about our own things. But what we're reminded about here in the words of Imam Ali alayhi salam is that Allah's knowledge is something which encompasses everything around us. And like I said, it's something which can have a huge impact on us when we're trying to develop our relationship with Allah Ta'ala. Imagine that there is Allah Ta'ala not only is the one who created me, not only is the one who He's providing for me everything that comes my way, but every moment that I exist, everything about me is something which is in His book. Everything that will happen to me is in His book as well too. Right? It's something which is profound. It's something which humbles me. It's something which causes me to call upon Him and say, oh Allah, give me the good things that You have apportioned for me. Because after all, Allah knows what we're going to do, but it's up to us to choose. Right? Now, depending on our choice, the result that's going to occur, that's from Allah as well too. Right? So knowing that all this is under His system and it's under His calculation is something which drives me to then ask from Him and to want the best from Him. That's why we see, now again, this is from Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. This is from the special salah of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Imam Ali alayhi salam and the other members of the Ahlul Bayt, they would have their own special prayer that they would do when they wanted to get their requests answered. So Imam Ali has his own prayer. You can find it if you want in Mafatihul Jinan and the books of dua. After he would do this prayer, he would make this dua. Now look at the way that he makes use of knowing about the knowledge of Allah in terms of asking from Him. He says, Ya man afa an as-sayyi'at, O the one who forgives the misdeeds. Walam yujazi biha, and the one who doesn't, take revenge for them. Irham abdaka ya Allahu nafsi nafsi. O Allah, have mercy on your servant. It is I. Ana abduka. I am your servant. I am your slave. Ya sayyida, O master. Ana abduka bayna yadayk. I am your slave in front of you. Ya Rabba, O my Lord. Okay, that's how he starts out. And then, I'm going to skip a part here. I'm going to go on a little bit. He says, Ya muntaha raghbata, O the one who is the ultimate desire. Ya mujriya dammi fi uruqi, O the one who causes blood to flow through my veins. Right? Have we thought about that? This idea that even every pulse of blood that happens in my body, there's a cause behind that, and ultimately it's Allah who is the one who is causing that. Then he says, Ya Rabba abduka, I am your servant, I am your slave. La hilat, I don't have any escape from you. Wala ghina bihi an nafsi, wala ghina bi an nafsi, I don't have any way that I can be independent of you. Wala astati'u laha darran wala naf'a, I can't do anything to save myself. I can't do anything to ward off any evil. I'm completely dependent on you. Then he says, هَذَا الْمَقَامُ يَا إِلَهِ بِعِلْمِكَ كَانَ هَذَا كُلُّهُ. This is, oh Allah, I'm in this position right now, and everything that I've done, it's with your knowledge. You know what I did. You know who I am. So now I'm coming to you, and I'm asking your forgiveness. And he says, ليت الشعري كيف تقول لدعائي أتقول نعم أم تقول لا. I don't know, how are you going to respond to my dua? Are you going to answer yes, or are you going to answer no? If you were to answer no, فإن قلت لا فيا ويلي يا ويلي يا ويلي يا عولي يا عولي يا عولي. Woe be to me, woe be to me, woe be to me. And then he says, if you were to answer yes, right, then it would be something that would be a source of great pleasure for me. Then he would say that, فَطُوبَى لِي أَنَا السَّعِيدُ. Then congratulations to me, I am the one who is truly, victorious. Now, these are words that I'm saying here, it's something that, these are the words of Imam Ali alayhi salam, right? Maybe we can just get a little bit from it, right? But at least we can understand this point, that Imam Ali alayhi salam, at all moments, one of the things that he's aware of is that Allah is with him, Allah is watching him. At every moment, everything that we do, we're under the gaze of Allah Ta'ala. Right? That's something which, it's profound, right? It's something that it's so easy to forget about. So easy to say, but so easy to forget about. Now, this is one of the takeaways that we take from this verse, is a reminder to us about Allah's awareness of us. But there's another one I want to take away as well tonight. And this comes from traditions that we have. In one tradition, we're told that when this verse was revealed, there was two companions who were with our Prophet, and they go to him and they say that, Ya Rasulullah, who is this Imam Mubin? Who does this refer to? Does it refer to the Torah? The Prophet says, no, it's not the Torah. Then one of them asks, does it refer to the Injil? He says, no, it doesn't refer to the Injil. Does it refer to the Quran? He said, it doesn't refer to the Quran either. Then they said, who does it refer to? At that point, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam comes into the gathering, and the Prophet of Allah points to him, and he says that this verse which has been revealed, وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ, this man is the Imam Mubin in which everything has been encapsulated. This is very important, brothers and sisters. Okay, this is part of our faith, right? On tonight, I want to make sure that we emphasize this point right here. That Imam Ali alayhi salam and the other Imams and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, they were the individuals who achieved the highest of heights, right? They attained the closest stations to Allah Ta'ala. And that's something that we can make use of, right? Because they've been given to us and they have been appointed as guides for us. But we have to understand, what are they? What do they represent? We talked about this idea of Allah having this book that has everything in it. Allah tells us in the Quran that it's possible for an individual, because of their servitude, because of their obedience to Allah, that they can gain knowledge of this book as well too. There's a story in the Quran of the throne of Bilqis. You must have heard of it. Sulaiman alayhi salam, right? There was a lady whose people were worshipping the sun, and so Sulaiman wanted to guide them, right? He sends them an invitation to accept the message, right? They don't respond, they send gifts instead. And Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam sends an army. As part of this, he wants to convince them of the truth of Islam, so he orders his courtiers, he says that bring Bilqis's throne from Yemen all the way to another land where Sulaiman is in. Okay, far away, right? And one of them stands up, the Quran describes it as somebody who had knowledge of the book, and he says that I will bring you the throne before you even blink the eye, and the Quran describes as him doing that. How does he do it? It's because he has knowledge of the book, and the commentators say that one of the apparent understandings of that is that he had knowledge of this book, which is the Imam Mubin, or the Lawh Mahfuz. Okay. Now, if one of the courtiers, who in hadith is known as Asif, if he was able to bring the throne of Bilqis, right, then imagine what our Imams could do. Right? After all, they were at the highest level of servitude. So one of the meanings of one of the applications and examples of somebody who has access to the Imam Mubin, had access to everything, is the Imams alayhim salam. Now, how can we take advantage of that? I want to give you a story which is reported from Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. This is from one of the companions, right, Ammar ibn Yasir. He says that we were returning back from one of the battles, and we came across a certain land in which there was many ants. Okay? Many ants. And Ammar ibn Yasir was one of the great, followers, one of the great Shia. He says that, I made a comment at that point. He said that I was looking at all these like millions of ants around, and I said that who could possibly be aware of how many ants there are? Imam Ali immediately says that I know somebody. I know a man who knows not only how many ants there are, but how many of them are male and how many of them are female as well. Meaning that I know the peculiarities, that person has the peculiarities, knows the specifics of the ants as well too. So Ammar ibn Yasir is confused. He says, who is this person right here? So Imam Ali asks him, he says that, have you not read this verse in Surah Yasin which says, وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ? And he says, yes. He says that I am that Imam Mubin who has knowledge of everything. Okay, this is what our books tell us. Now, knowledge of what? Now, okay, so the Imam has knowledge of all the ants, right? Is that the sum total? So does he know the birds as well too? Does he know like the fish, right? Yes, he knows that as well too. But on this night, as far as you and I are concerned, how can it be something that helps us? In addition to knowing about these sorts of things, the Imam is intimately aware of our condition, of his followers in particular. We have an Imam who is alive right now. He is tasked with guiding us. He is our Imam. He's like that, as I mentioned before, that highway. Once you get on there, okay, everything is set for you. In one tradition, we're told that there was a man who traveled all the way from African country to Medina to visit our fifth Imam, in Medina. Okay, he travels all the way from an African country to Medina to visit Imam Bakr alayhi salam. When Imam Bakr sees him, he greets him and he says that, tell me about Rashid. Is Rashid? He says, Rashid, he's good. When I left my country, Rashid was somebody who used to live. I left my country, he was fine. He sends a salam to you. So Imam alayhi salam says that may Allah have mercy on him. So this man who had come from the country says that, what do you mean? Are you saying that he's passed away? And the Imam alayhi salam says that yes, he passed away a few days ago. So he says that, how is it that you know this? Okay, now very interesting what the Imam alayhi salam says. He says, لَإِن تَرَوْنَ أَنَّهُ لَيْسَ لَنَا مَعَكُمْ أَعْيُنَا نَاظِرَةً أَوْ أَسْمَاعَ سَامِعَةً. Do you not know and do you not see that our position with respect to you is that we are the eyes which are always aware and seeing, and we are the ears that are always hearing? Don't you see that Allah does not hide anything from us from the actions that you perform? So make sure that what you do is beautiful, and train yourselves to do good things, and be with the people of good. And if you do that, then you will be known with goodness as well too. And this is what I order my children, and I order all the Shias as well too. Okay, this is a night for us to, at least I want to speak for myself, inshallah, giving you the advice as well too, to recommit ourselves to being the Shia of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. If the Imam knows about all the ants, okay, that's great, right? But what I'm concerned about is the fact that he knows about my situation intimately, right? And he's waiting for me to be able to guide me, right? That's the role of the Imam. We need to try to make the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam a part of our lives. This is a treasure that we have. The fact that we can reach out to them, we can talk to them. There's a human being who knows everything, right? Who has access to the secrets of the universe, who's been tasked to guide me. He's my teacher. He's the source of all the goodness for me. I need to take advantage of that. I need to reach out to him. I need to lead my life in a way which would allow him to guide me as well. There's another story. This is again from Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. One day he had gone to the markets of Kufa. When he was the Khalifa, right, he used to take things in his own hands, right? He wouldn't just have like these officials who would do everything for him, and he would sit up in his like sort of ivory tower and just bark orders to everyone. He was a very practical leader. So he would go to the markets, right? He would see, is there somebody who's lost? Can he guide them? Right? He would remind people that, hey, you're doing business here, right? But it's not just about making a bunch of money here. Right? He would quote the verse of Quran, وَتِلْكَ الدَّارُ الْآخِرَةِ نَجْعَلُهَا لِلَّذِينَ لَا يُرِيدُونَ عُلُوًا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَا فَسَادًا. That abode of the hereafter, it's for people who are not just seeking to like gain, be better than the others and just gain superiority over others and dominate them. Right? There's more to life than that. In this particular incident, he sees that there's a girl who is crying on the street. So he goes to her and he says that, "What's wrong? Can I help you?" She says that, "I am a servant and I was given a dirham to buy dates from my master. I came and I bought dates. I brought them back home and they didn't like them. They told me to go and return the dates and get the money back again. I've come back to the market. I have the dates, but the date seller refuses to accept them back again. I don't know what to do. If I go back, I'll be punished." Amir al-Mu'mineen, one thing that we know about him is that he would always be on the side of justice. He would never let even one thing unjust, even the smallest of injustice, take place when he's aware of it. So he goes to the date seller and he says that, "Don't you see that she is in need of returning this thing, otherwise she's going to be punished, right? Just accept the dates back again and give her the money back again." The date seller gets angry. He throws a fist at Imam Ali alayhi salam. He lands a punch. Okay, now other people see this, and because he didn't recognize him, they say that, "What are you doing? Don't you realize that's Amir al-Mu'mineen, that's the commander of the faithful, you're striking him?" So he gets all, like white-faced, ashen, right? And he goes to him and says, "I'm so sorry, please accept my apology, I didn't know who you were." What does Amir al-Mu'mineen say? He says that, "I forgive you, but what I want you to do is I want you to fix your behavior, right? Reform yourself and give her the money back, and that's when I truly can forgive you." Now, brothers and sisters, right? This is, potentially one of the nights of Qadr, right? Our Imam alayhi salam is the Sahib, the master of Laylatul Qadr. He is our Imam. On a practical level, unfortunately, many times I believe that this analogy of what that date seller did, it's something that we do as well too. We know what's right? We know what the Imam expected of us. We know the level of commitment and sacrifice that the Ahlul Bayt wanted from their followers. But what do? Right? In our pursuit of our own pleasures, right? We make excuses, right? We forget about what they want. We cut corners, right? We miss our obligations. We put other things as more priority. And what we practically do is we give them a punch as well too. Right? We say that, they've come to us to guide us. They want to take us by our hands and take us to higher stations. But we basically say that, "No, I don't want you. Right? I'm okay just following my own course of things. I want to do things on my own." Fine, do things on your own. But what we can do tonight is to go to them and say, I'm committed now. Right? This is the night where I renew my commitment of being a Shia of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Inshallah, Allah will give us the tawfiq to do so. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Another salawat, please. This is the night in which the house of Ali alayhi salam is filled with weeping and mourning as they see the father, the Imam of their time, lying on bed. They say that Ibn Muljam, when he took that sword to strike Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, that sword for 40 mornings he had scrubbed it with the poison that eventually entered into the body of Imam Ali alayhi salam. For 40 mornings he had dipped it in the poison. And why did he do so? Because he was motivated to kill the one in his eyes who was the most evil of people. Imagine how twisted somebody can become. Now you can imagine what type of effect this poison would have had on the body of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. And therefore it was only a span of 45 to 48 hours after being struck and that poison entering his body that Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam was still alive. Now in these 48 hours, the historians say that Imam Ali alayhi salam, whenever he was conscious, he was guiding people. This was the fountainhead of wisdom, the peak of eloquence. Even when he's in that condition, whenever he can, he's guiding them. We have multiple reports of advice that he gave to the people and his family at that time. In one of them, we're told that Imam Ali alayhi salam, as he gives his last testimony, he says, I bear witness that I, the son of Abu Talib, I tell you that I bear witness an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Imam Ali alayhi salam's entire life was a life of Tawheed. وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله. And then he goes on, and then he tells them to particular pieces of advice. One of the things he tells them is that have taqwa of Allah. Then he tells them that get your affairs organized, get your affairs in order. Somebody who's disorganized, somebody who doesn't have a routine, they're never going to be able to accomplish anything in terms of being able to get closer to Allah Ta'ala. And then he mentions particular areas. He says, Allah, Allah fi salah. That take care of the salah for the sake of Allah. I enjoin you to take care of the salah. Allah, Allah fil Quran. Don't abandon the Quran. Don't let other people come and become closer to the Quran than you do. And then he has a special encouragement and enjoyment regarding the orphans. Allah, Allah fil aitam. He says sometimes orphans, right, if they're neglected, then they can go hungry. Don't let them go hungry even for a single day. I heard the Messenger of Allah say that if you take care of an orphan until they become of age, then what you are guaranteed is paradise. Imam Ali Islam used to be himself, he used to call himself the father of orphans. Right? They would see him, sometimes companions would see him with the orphans gathered around him. One of the companions, Tufail, he says that I saw him lovingly taking spoonfuls of honey. And the orphans one by one would come to him, sit on his lap, and he would treat them with so much kindness and so much compassion as he would feed them that honey. He says that I wish that I was a child and I was able to experience what the Imam was giving to him. That's how beloved and touching that scene was. Imam Ali alayhi salam knows that those orphans are going to lose their father. So he's telling the people that take care of these orphans. Now let us go through some of the incidents that took place at this time. Sallallahu alayka ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Sallallahu alayka ya Hujjat Allahi fi khalqah. Ya Ali ibn Abi Talib. There was a companion, his name was Asbagh ibn Nubata. He was one of those staunch companions of Imam Ali alayhi salam. He would never leave him. Every moment when he could, he would show him his loyalty. He and a few other companions have gathered outside of the home of Ali on this night. They can hear the cries from within. Their hearts are crying. The tears are pouring from their eyes. After some time, Hassan alayhi salam comes out from the home. He tells them that your master has ordered that you should go home now. This is not a place for you to stay. The companions, one by one, regretfully, they get up to leave. But Asbagh ibn Nubata finds himself unable to leave from the door of Ali. When he hears the ladies crying within, he cannot help but to cry. No matter what he does, he cannot leave the side of the Imam. After some time, Imam Hassan alayhi salam comes out once again. He says to him, did I not order you to leave? He says, yes, you did. But my body is unable to obey. I cannot leave until I see my Imam for one last time. After some time, Imam Hassan alayhi salam tells him, Asbagh, come in and see your master. When Asbagh sees Imam Ali alayhi salam, he is so overcome. He says that there was so much yellowness because of the poison. I don't know what was more yellow. the cloth they had tied on the head of the Imam or the Imam's own face. When the Imam tells him, "Oh Asbaq, don't cry this way. Don't you know that after this short time, Jannah is what's waiting for me?" Asbaq tells him that, "Oh my master, it's not for you that I cry. It's for the fact that we are losing you that I am weeping and crying." Imam Ali alayhi salam, he knows that there's only a limited time before the moment is to come. In those last moments, he gathers his family around him. Just imagine, just picture this in your mind. Which family has gathered around the bedside of Imam Ali alayhi salam? There is Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein. There is Zainab and Kulthum. Imagine these children as they see their father in this state. All the tragedies that they had already seen with losing their mother and losing Rasulullah before him. Imam Ali alayhi salam has a special message for Imam Hussein. After conveying his farewell to everyone who was gathered, he puts his attention on Imam Hussein. He says, "Ya Aba Abdullah, Anta shaheedu hadhihi al-ummah. You are the martyr of this ummah. فَعَلَيْكَ بِتَقْوَى اللَّهِ وَالصَّبْرِ عَلَى بَلَائِهِ." You have to have taqwa of Allah and be patient over all the calamities that you're going to face. And then he has a message for Zainab alayha salam. He tells her, "It's as if I can see the enemies taking you and the other women folk of my family. You'll be taken as prisoners, so be patient, O Zainab." He tells them that the moment is close now. I can see my uncle Hamza. I can see my cousin, I can see my brother Ja'far, I can see my cousin Rasulullah and the great companions. They are telling me to hurry up and join them. Imam Ali alayhi salam, in these last moments, he falls out of consciousness and comes back again. In and out of consciousness. At one moment they see that he is whispering something. What is Amir al-Mu'mineen saying? What are his last words? They come close to see and hear from those blessed lips what he is whispering. They hear him saying, "Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله." Imam Ali alayhi salam, the one who never bowed to any idols, he is leaving this world with the remembrance of Allah on his lips. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam is breathing his last. The family erupts in tears. They begin to cry out loud. We have lost our father. We have lost Amir al-Mu'mineen. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. May Allah Ta'ala accept this majlis from us and may He make us those who are truly the followers of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Let us try to mold our lives and our values after what he has taught us, and let us aim at trying to die a death of the death of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Matam Hussein.
Ya Ali, 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 Ya Ali. Everyone, Ya Ali, 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 Ya Ali. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. I hear the munajat of Ali from the dawning sunrise. I wonder why he weeps so much this 19th morning and cries. Why the blood red colors in the sky this 19th morning? Why are all the birds and all the bees restless and mourning? Why such strong winds and why trees swaying as if to break dead? It seems this day the world's to end. I shudder and clutch my head. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Ya Ali, Ali, Ali. Mola walks on towards the masjid where he knows what is come. I hear him ask repentance and patience in a deep hum. I know not why, but I want to try to stop him going. But he smiles at me and tells me that his fate is waiting. Sorrow overcomes me as he steps inside the masjid. The trees and beasts all weep with me from all around and surround. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Mola wakes Muljim up who hides a poison sword beneath him. Think you not Ali knows not who is to slash and kill him. Ali listens to his last adhan and gets up to leave. And the angels start to weep as Ali prepares to bleed. Muljim comes from behind and strikes the head of Ali Sajda. And I collapse as Ali shouts Fostowa Rabbil Kaaba. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Ya Ali. I pass an orphan weeping who has seen my kindly father. I pass a widow weeping, I have lost my kindly helper. I pass a leper weeping, where is gone my kindly nurser? I pass a beggar weeping, have you seen my kindly feeder? Then I pass by Mola Ali's hope and weeping I see. Ya Ali, you father, helper, nurser, divine mercy. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. 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 Ya Ali, Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Salawat Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad.
السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك، السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى 9 المعصومين من ذرية الحسين،
السلام عليك يا مولانا يا صاحب العصر والزمان عجل الله تعالى فرجك وجعلنا من أعوانك وأنصارك ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Salam, brothers and sisters, once again, just a quick reminder that the Amal will be starting soon once the program is finished in the main hall. But we will have overflow, so if you can't find a space in there, we do ask you to come back in here, inshallah. Thank you. And please pick up any trash you see, even if it's not yours. Any plates or cups or anything, please pick up after yourself. Thank you. Salam, brothers. Whoever has the envelope for the SYG care package, please bring it up. Does anybody have the care package, the envelope for the money donation?